Arthritis is a really common condition, and do you know that some people are accidentally flaring or causing problems for arthritis? It's the foods that they're eating. This is the video about that. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jason West, and this video is about the foods that cause arthritis. The reason why we want to talk about that is because you are what you eat, and I love the statement that says if you are what you eat, are you fast, cheap, and easy? But believe it or not, just because food tastes good and can be filling doesn't mean that it's good for you. And there's a huge impact on what we're putting in our body into arthritis. So the traditional viewpoint of arthritis is it's an inflammatory condition, and if we reduce the inflammation by using a COX-2 inhibitor, or a over-the-counter, a cortisone, prednisone, something like that, if we take away the inflammation, what happens is the body will heal itself, or the inflammation inside the joint, which we call arthritis, and there's over 100 different types of arthritis, that will reduce or even go away. And I think the problem with that is, let's pretend that your body's a car and you're going down the road and you want to be you're a good citizen, you're periodically looking at your dashboard and you look down and you notice that your oil light's on. And I'm kind of joking and I'm kind of serious that the traditional American medical approach is to give you a big piece of black electrician's tape and put it over the oil light and say, problem solved. Now, common sense tells us that one of these days we're going to have to pay the piper. You're going to end up with a huge problem, some overhaul or engine replacement. And the problem that we have with our bodies is we don't really have the ability to replace the engine. So yes, there's some joint replacement possibilities, but no one wants that unless it's absolutely necessary. So what you're putting into your system has a huge effect on the health of your joints. So some myths that we have about arthritis is, number one, that it can be completely controlled with the over-counter the medicine. The myths of arthritis is that your food doesn't have any impact, that your sleeping doesn't have any impact, that sugar's not related. And I see such a nice improvement in patients when they reduce their sugar intake. It's literally amazing for them that they can decrease their inflammation, they can get rid of the redness. It's so important for your immune system. And when we talk about immune system, most of the time people think that has to do with infection. Well, your immune system, if you damage your ankle, you damage the joint, the body has to increase the temperatures or increase the redness so that the body can get the cells that are activated by heat to the area. It breaks down the damaged or injured cells, and then it puts in a matrix to repair or improve the new cells that are coming. And the immune system doesn't work as well in the presence of a high sugar or high carbohydrate diet. So a common fallacy or a common misconception is that the older that you get, you're going to get arthritis. There's nothing you can do about it. You may end up with a joint replacement surgery. You'll need some type of over-the-counter, or you're going to need aspirin or Tylenol or ibuprofen or naproxen as you age. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that your diagnosis, and I don't believe that just because you're matriculating and you're going through life doesn't mean that you can't have a good quality of life. If you watch what you put into your system and you're putting hot foods, that they're healthy and alive foods. And when I say hot foods, things like that have garlic and cayenne and peppers and onions and radishes and cloves, those foods have a tendency to increase the circulation, reduce inflammation. And if you add glucosamine, chondroitin, and acetylmyristoliate and omega-3 fatty acids, I believe that as you age, you don't always have to get arthritis. I think that's a myth. It's an easy out for a lot of people that don't want to take responsibility for their health. And they say, well, I'm just old, I'm getting arthritis. I see a lot of people that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s that are doing great, and they're putting a lot of the rest of us to shame because they're doing everything right. My recommendations for foods that cause arthritis and prevent arthritis, and I know that's kind of a weird way to say that, but inflammatory foods, wheat, sugars, high fructose corn syrup, foods with lots of insecticides in them. And when people say that, they're like, wait a minute, I don't eat foods that have insecticides in them. And I say, well, what about foods with preservatives? Because what that means is it's preserving the food so the bugs don't eat it, and we're just bigger bugs. So the more healthy and alive your food is, the more healthy and alive you are. And then there are certain foods that just seem to really trigger arthritis. One of the biggest ones that I see is acid. People are drinking acid. They think that it's giving them energy and pep, which may be because they're deficient in another area. But if you think about how physiology works, if we take acid and we put it into an acid environment, and what I'm talking about is carbonation and soda pop, energy drinks. If you put that inside your system, what happens is your body has to balance. And so it takes minerals and vitamins out of the organs and out of the tissues to balance out the stomach physiology. It robs Peter to pay Paul. It congests the liver. And then what happens is that all arthritics have congested livers. It makes it so you can't process toxins, and you basically get backed up with junk. People that have arthritis in some regards are like a clogged toilet. And in order for that toilet to basically get unclogged, you have to stir up or drain it, and our liver helps us to do that. So foods that cause inflammation, high sugar foods, foods that have a lot of food dyes in them, preservative, insecticides, are going to aggravate arthritis. I've seen people that can come in that can't even comb their hair, they can't shave, they can't have any range of motion, and they're drinking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're drinking a lot of soda pop, and what that soda pop is doing is it has a tendency to aggravate arthritis. Now, I know there's people out there that don't drink soda that have arthritis, but I see a lot more people that come in that say, you know, I'm drinking a 6-pack, or I'm drinking 12, 24, or a super tanker full of soda, and I get them off of it, and we go back to some other healthier liquid intake. And what happens is their arthritis improve, and I urge you to try it. You know, you can have results or you can have excuses. You just can't have both. I can think of a specific example of a guy that came in that had really bad gout. That's a type of, you know, metabolic arthritis. Couldn't move his shoulders. The thing is, I can't shave and I can't comb my hair because my joint is so restricted. And he was drinking about a 6-pack of Dr. Pepper every day while he was out farming. And we were able to show him that, you know, if you put acid inside your acidic stomach, what happens is we're going to rob the tissues of their vitamins and minerals that they need to alkalinize the system. We got him to stop training. About 30 days later, he had a complete full range of motion. We didn't have to have a shoulder replacement surgery. It's really, really quite striking. Other thing that I see that people discount all the time is foods that have digestive enzymes like papaya, like cherries, like pineapple. They literally give your body little Pac-Men that go around and they eat up inflammatory pockets. If I can get people to stop drinking soda, and also, and this isn't a free pass, just because it's juice doesn't mean it's healthy. I've had people come in that are drinking a gallon of orange juice or half a gallon of orange juice every day. They're not eating the whole fruit. They're not getting enough fiber in their system. We get acidic accumulation through the joints. And if you can get fiber into the diet, increase the water intake, I've seen incredible changes in arthritic conditions. This is Dr. Jason West signing out. We've been talking about the foods that increase, the foods that decrease arthritic conditions. We'll see you on the next video.